Good morning, kids. So we are back. It's going to be fun. We've taken a break. I apologize. I know. It's been probably like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks since I posted on YouTube. So I apologize. I've been hitting TikTok real hard. But as you can see, we're back working again. We're back at the shop. I'm going to remove my wedding ring so I don't lose it in the gut pile again. We're working on a really nice Angus limousine cross bull. You can tell it's a bull because of its...
These nuts.
Yeah. So we're going to get this guy broken down. Again, I'll probably pop in, talk about some stuff. If you guys have been following the channel for a while, you've seen this quite a bit. If you haven't, welcome. Please make sure to go to the rest of my videos. They're pretty fun. I try to keep it going. So yeah, we're just going to go through. We're going to start breaking it down. We're going to try and not get this video age restricted. Probably not going to happen. But we'll see what happens. So just a little layout before we start, because again, most of this is probably going to be in time lapse. But again, I like to explain it out. We're going to pop all 4 legs off, the feet right here, right at this joint. Get everything ready. We'll start our main incisions to start skinning everything out. Lift her up, start skinning everything down on the hindquarters, remove the bung, split the sternum, all the fun stuff. Then we'll get this guy split. So we'll see you guys the next time I feel as though it's important to talk to you. Before I fully get going, I want to give a shout out to my biggest fan, Gage. You're doing awesome. Listen to your dad. All right, that's all. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. I'm not super happy on how I sharpen these. So I'm going to go ahead, put a different sharpen on these, get them nice and just razor sharp. So we'll be right back. We'll pop back in here. We'll see you in a second. All right, we're back. I've said it before and I will say it again. Go into this with the sharpest knives you possibly can. If you do not feel slightly uncomfortable with how sharp your knives are, they are not sharp enough. You are 1,000 times more likely, that's a completely made up statistic, I don't do math. You are 1,000 times more likely to cut or stab yourself with a dull knife because you're actually you're pushing that knife to do more than it's capable of. And what's going to happen is you're going to cut through the hide, you're going to slip off of something, you're going to end up putting a knife in your leg. I can tell you that with 100% certainty because I have done it. So, let's get back to it. So as you can see, when I made my first incisions, it was one main line down to the bung, and then one going down both front legs. I do not make incisions going down the front legs. What I do is I go through, skin everything out around it, peel the front leg most of the way out, then make my cut right around here. It makes it a little bit cleaner. Yes, there's still a little bit of hair there, but it's nowhere near as bad as if I was to make my incision cuts. Again, I'm not saying that is the only way to do it. I'm saying it's the way I do it. So take it with a grain of salt or don't listen to me. I don't know. I'm just some dude on the internet. Don't put things in your mouth. I'm dumb. Don't do it. We're going to take a second to talk about beef tongue, because I never do it. So this is a beef tongue. This is, hands down, one of the greatest cuts you can get off a cow. Doesn't look like much. Probably looks a little terrifying. When cooked correctly, there is no better cut. It takes some work. You have to parboil it. You have to peel this exterior off. Then you have to come up with a couple creative recipes. But things like lengua. If you've ever had lengua and you didn't know what it was, it's this right here. Makes amazing tacos, enchiladas, things like that. I've done these in the crock pot. Usually what I'll do, if the customer doesn't want them, I'll snag them. I'll boil a bunch off, make a big batch of stock, peel all the linings off of them, and then stick them in a cryovac bag and toss them right in the freezer. So that way I can pull out 3 or 4 and do a big thing of tacos or pot roast, whatever. If you're not saving beef tongues, do it. We're going to talk about organ meat a little bit this video. Once again, the heart. Fantastic cut of meat that not enough people are utilizing. This is fantastic. Cut into slices on the grill, slice it up into stir fry. You can do a ton of stuff with the heart. And it is absolutely delicious, super nutritious for you. Has a bunch of iron, a bunch of essential minerals and things like that. Again, save your organ meat. Save the stuff. It's worth it. You've put the time and money into this animal. Get everything you can out of it. So that's my PSA on hearts. So now we've got the tongue, the heart. We'll pop my auger out. I just use, this is an auger off of an old electric grinder that I have. That's what I use to separate the sternum, so it gives me a little bit easier workspace. They have chest spreaders you can buy. Even if you had a piece of steel or something that you sharpened on both ends and was able to pry it open, just makes your life easier. You're not fighting to keep this open while also trying to cut the heart out. So now what we're going to do, we get everything scun out on both sides. There's actually fairly nice marbling on this. Again, he's a bull. He's going to have a little less fat to him, a little less marbling. That's just the nature of the beast. This customer is going to be hanging. I'm going to be hanging this for 2 weeks for this customer per request. So he'll tender up a little bit more. From what I'm feeling already, he's not super tough. I think he's only bred a handful of times. The lore of bulls and what everyone gets scared of, and I forget I can talk and walk now because I have a decent microphone. is that they're going to be tough. They're going to be gamey. They're going to be super chewy. You're not going to be able to eat them. Yeah. If you bring in a 13-year-old bull that's had 10 or so seasons out there breeding, he's been running and gunning and just full rut, yeah, you're going to have a chewy critter for sure. Again, this animal is, I think, 3 years old, something along those lines. You're not going to have to worry about it. I think the customer said this year was the first time he really got any action. You don't need to worry about it. Save your bulls. Eat them. They're going to be just as good. And it gives you an opportunity to, all right, maybe you're not getting those perfect 1.5-inch ribeye steaks. Get a ribeye roast. Get chuck roasts. Get things you can put in the crock pot. It gives you the opportunity to experiment more in what you're cooking. So what we're going to do, I'm going to finish getting that back leg skun out because I just noticed that one isn't fully done. We'll get the tractor going, get the hind end on this lifted up, and I'm probably not going to show exact detail of me pulling the bung out of this thing just because, YouTube. But you'll see it from an angle. So we'll get this thing up, get this thing skun out, get her split, and we'll finish this video. It'll be great. As you can see, I'm being pretty careful. I don't know how much the compressor is in this audio, so I apologize if it's drowned out. I doubt it. But I'm making sure that I am not cutting this tendon. I don't even know if you can see me. I'll show you here because I know you can see me over here. This tendon right here is what we're going to be hanging the sucker from. So you want to make 100% sure you're not slicing into this, because if you do, as soon as that thing gets on the tractor, she's coming to the ground. And that's not fun. This guy probably, with all of his internal organs in him currently, he probably weighs about 650 pounds. And I don't know about you, I don't want 650 pounds falling off me. So I am usually fairly careful in trying to make sure everything's all set. So, all right, we're going to get the tractor going, get the hind end on this thing lifted up. Said it before and I will say it again. Do not do this on a tractor that you are not comfortable with. I've had this machine for I don't even know how many years now. Have I had hoses blow? Yes. Has it been terrifying? Yes. Has it been with beef on the bucket? No, thank God. You need to be cautious of everything you are doing. Again, this is a monster bucket. If this thing came down, I would be dead. So you just have to be super cautious of it. If you are working with somebody, if they're running the tractor, if I have somebody running the tractor, I make it known I need to see your hands unless I'm away from the tractor. Like they are not on the steering wheel, they are not on any of the any of the levers, nothing. Keep your hands off until I ask you to, because it's one movement. It's one accidental twitch. That bucket comes down, drops a beef, whatever. Just be super cautious when doing this off the bucket. PSA over. So we're going to finish hosing this guy down. Get all that nice stuff in there. We'll give it a little bit of an enema. It's never too late for butthole care. So we will go ahead, hold this up a little bit. So what we're going to do, I do have a video on this, just standalone. I am going to explain a little bit while you guys can't see it, because again, I think that last one got age restricted. So it's up there, but you got to be 18. We're going to make an incision down all the way to the bung, go around it, and down to the tail. So essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to have a triangle of skin around the bee hole that we are then going to separate from the animal. So in order to do that, first we're going to come down, finish pulling the rest of this hide off the legs. Get everything nice and neat. Again, I do keep saying, yeah, we got videos of this, videos of that. We do. But I do want to continue to put out new content like this. We have had an influx of subscribers on here. So more than likely, some of you haven't seen this, because more than likely, a lot of you are YouTube viewers like myself. You watch one video and you go, I'll subscribe to these guys. And you'll scroll through, see what they got, but you're not going to take much time.
Get out of my head! Get out of my head!
I get it. I'm a person. I understand. So I want to keep putting out new content that you guys are able to see. Again, I do apologize that YouTube has taken a bit of a back seat. We're gonna keep hammering. We're gonna keep doing more stuff. I've been hitting TikTok pretty hard, and for some reason, because I'm dumb, I have not been cross-platform promoting. So we will be doing a lot more of that. If you have come from TikTok, thanks for watching. I can get away with a little more over here on YouTube than I can on TikTok. All right, so we have the bung separated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab right here above the tail, and we're going to make an incision here, an incision here, and we're going to take about a 1-inch piece of hide off this tail here. Not like that. I would like to get more of it. Thank you very much. I'm on video. I should kind of look like I know what I'm doing. God damn it. So that is about how much tail we're going to leave. I'm going to get in here, find the separation between the tail bones, pop that off. You could probably stick that on a plug or something and sell it to some alt girl. I don't know. I'm just thinking of business ideas. Sorry, Gage. Sorry, Joe. I forget this is a family-friendly program. It ain't. So, what I like to do, skin down a little bit on the side of the tail. I keep the tail attached while I'm doing the skinning process on the back, because over the years of me doing it solo, I have found it's easier for me to leave the tail attached, and that way I'm not fighting the rest of the hide while everything's lifted. You're not walking around stepping on hide and stuff like that. It's just there. You still get the gravity, the weight of the hide coming down on the rest of it, but again, I'm not stepping over it and dealing with it. So we're going to pull this bung. We're going to go ahead. We've got a little bit of Mr. Winky still hanging on here. I usually try to leave about 6 inches attached so I can put it off to the side in case there is still some contents in the bladder that they're just not going all over the meat itself. It can kind of dangle off to the side. You're not... I'm not going to say you're not going to experience something like this as much with a steer, but I deal with it a lot less on steers because, once again, they haven't put the work in. So if you don't work that muscle, you're not going to build it up as much. Ooh, we got some gurgles. All right, get rid of that. And that didn't make the bucket. So we're going to cut between this top round right here and expose the pelvis. Again, being very careful to not push too far in this way, because now that I have this open, I've exposed the like stomach cavity, like the intestinal cavity. So I don't want to be going around all willy-nilly in there and puncturing intestines and stuff. So you saw me use a zip tie over on the esophagus. We're going to use a zip tie over here to pull out the bung. Everyone gets worried about doing this part, from whether it's beef, pigs, or hunters doing deer. Everyone's worried about it. Everyone goes out and grabs the bung out tool and this, that, and the other thing. I'm an adult. Use your finger. But essentially what I'll do is I will find, that's fun. Got some joint fluid coming out of that. Find the top of your pelvis. Make your incision and just follow the pelvis all the way around with your knife pointed. So if that's your pelvis, your knife's going to be pointed in towards the pelvis. You're not going to be cutting like this, because then you will cut intestines, and then you're going to have a bad time. We'll call it a shitty situation. So we are just gonna pop a zip tie on. I'm also gonna grab a paper towel. This guy had a bit of the squirts. So when it's more solid, obviously you have to worry about it less. And again, I'm still talking, even though I'm not there, because I have a Bluetooth mic. It's magic. So we're gonna hose off a little bit of the poo. Just a little bit on the tail there. We're going to take this, wrap it around that. I'm going to, once again, kind of separate all the membranes in here. We're going to leave that out like that for a moment. And we're going to cut this pelvis. Once again, being very careful not to send this blade into the stomach, because you'll know it. So now I can take this, push that in there. We've separated everything. So now once we do get to the gutting process, everything will slide right out. So what I like to do next, while I have it hung up like this, all the organs and everything, again, gravity's still working in our favor. Everything's pushing down towards the back. Obviously, you can see there's still some give there. There's still some stuff pushing up, but you have the ability to go a little bit easier and make your gutting incision while it's laying like this, instead of getting it in a full hang and now fighting all of those organs. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to make that cut. I like to angle my knife towards, like at an angle a little bit. Again, don't do this if you're not comfortable. This would be the perfect moment for that to fall and just be like, oh, wow. Have Sarah McLachlan in the background. It's like, oh, how'd Kyle die? Well, fuck it. Well, at least he died doing what he loved. And we're going to open up this diaphragm a little bit as well, just kind of pushing back the organs. So once again, once we get this guy raised, all we're going to have to do is just yank everything out. If you do it right, it's almost like you're running against the gun trying to make sure that your barrel's in the right spot. It should all almost fall out on its own if you do it right. All right. We're going to go ahead, pop this up just as a bit of a safety precaution. Is it going to do much? No. Could it give me a couple seconds? Maybe. Again, I'm yelling because the tractor's on. I don't even know how much of that you're picking up. There we go. One of our major plans this year is to build a canopy over this, and to, I don't even know what you're actually seeing now that we lifted it up. Oh, you're seeing quite a bit. One of our major plans is to build a canopy over this with some winches, so that way I'm not playing Final Destination every time I come out here for work. So, we are going to finish separating this. Again, you don't want to pull too hard because you don't want to pop anything, especially this bladder that almost hit me in the face. I am not a fan of golden showers. Once again, sorry Joe, sorry Gage. Yep. So there's that. All right. Now we're pretty much there. We're going to keep this liver. So we're going to finish separating all of that and kind of get a hand on the liver so it doesn't fully fall into the gut pit. Excuse me. Cut the gallbladder off that. We'll give her a rinse, and we're good to go. Once again, we'll continue on with our organ conversation. Liver is absolutely fantastic, and it has been given a rise in popularity as of late, just because of all the social media stuff with all the influencers getting swole. Yeah, liver's great for you. It's not going to make you real puffy and everything like that. That's steroids, kids. But that being said, liver is good, cooked correctly. Now, the only thing we need to cut, again, I wish I could show more of this, but it's scary content that people can't see because their feelings will get hurt. So, now we got that clean. And as you can see, we got a little bit of something over here. At this point in the process, cut off anything like this. Any poo like this. Because what you're doing if you're just rinsing it off is you're just spreading poo water everywhere. So if you come in here, make an incision, go around it, and just slice that whole section off, you're guaranteed to get all the yucky stuff out of here. and you're not going to be spreading a ton of stuff. And then just make sure you rinse your knife after. Shoot, fly, don't bother me. All right, so now that's done. We'll rinse our hands and rinse the knife. And I'm going to plug this battery in just to make sure, because I don't want this thing to die in the middle of splitting this beef, which has happened before, and it's not super fun. It says it's fully charged, but we're going to make sure. How's the angle looking? Beautiful. All right. So now I'm just going to work on either side, and then we're just going to pull this off. All right, so now we have this scun down all the way to the head. I don't know how much of the head you're seeing, and I'll be honest, if you're seeing a bunch of it, I'm probably going to block it out because, you know, YouTube doesn't love that. So like I said, we're just going to pull that off like that. It was a tiny little piece of hair that was stuck there, so I'm going to try not to slice a digit. We're good. Let's see where you are angled. Might just pop it up a little bit. Yep, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I will explain it while I'm doing it. Again, I'm doing my best not to have my videos age restricted, but, you know, people get upset when animals go in the cooler. No one wants to see how their food is actually coming out. So, I'll sharpen this one up because I'm going to use this one too. So I'll walk you guys through it as I'm doing it. So, we are going to get right to the base of the neck. And what we are looking for is what is called the atlas bone. Now, the way your skull sits on... The heck was that? The wind. Jesus. The way the skull sits on the head, there's a thing called an atlas bone. So in the back of the head, we'll do it like this. It's kind of shaped like this. On the back of the spine, there's a piece like this, like a mortise and tenon, that fits it perfectly. So what you need to do is you need to clear around the entire section and get into a corner and just pop that joint. Once you do that, it comes off very, very easy. I will do my best to overlay a picture of a clean mortise and tenon joint that won't get taken down. Oh, look at that. Like butter. And then off with the head. All right. I'm just going to grab a hold of this jaw here. And get that out of the way so I'm not tripping on it. So, now what I'm going to do, just going to go through, look at any section where there's extra hair that's still on there. Look at the neck down here. We did puncture the esophagus while we were during the bleeding process. So I'm just going to come down like this and just clean all that off so I'm not dealing with it in the end. Yeah, that's all clean. And we're just going to give this guy a rinse. So I am going to leave this video at this, just because I'll be brutally honest, I got to film a little TikTok content as well. And it's a little tough to do both, but I will do my best. So, actually, yeah, I'm not going to shut you off. We'll get this guy split. So, before I split it, I am just going to give it a bit of a rest, or a bit of a rinse. This is what we got. It is a very good looking carcass, but like I said, it's a bull. So, it is a little lean on a 3-year-old Angus cross like this. Again, there is some limousine in there, so that is a dairy breed. I would expect a little bit more fat. I know this farm. I know they feed really well. So, but that's, once again, it's the nature of the beast. So, I'm going to angle you a certain way so I can put this on video for YouTube, and I can also steal it for TikTok. So we'll see you guys in a second. All right, good looking split. I can tell already there actually is some pretty decent marbling in this guy. So now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna come in with my steel and just kind of trace down this spinal cord, and we're gonna pull the spinal cord right out of this guy. If you leave the spinal cord in, there's a chance of it going bad first and kind of tainting the meat a little bit. So we're just going to come through, yank that puppy out. Because nobody wants any Jacob Creutzfeldt disease. All right. Pick all that yucky stuff up, toss it in the bin, and we are done. So, only thing we need to do next, this guy will get broken down into sixths. He's not too big. He'll probably dress out at, if I had to guess, 550, right around that. I'll pop it right here on the screen, what the actual weight is. So, we'll see. But I appreciate everybody who's watching. Again, to my subscribers that have been watching for a while, I apologize. I haven't been putting a bunch of stuff out. Things have been crazy running around, and honestly, I haven't had a ton of stuff coming through the shop. So we're starting to pick up. The rest of this month's booked, half of next month's booked, and I've still got all my feeders that need to go in. So we will be putting out a bunch more content on YouTube. And if you have TikTok and you're not following me, please jump over there. I am putting a ton of content on TikTok. We're kind of blowing up over there a little bit. So I have been doing, when I have the work, a bunch of TikTok lives right in the shop. I set you guys up. You can ask me questions. You can chat. You can berate me. I don't really care. Every now and then a vegan pops in and I get to have some real fun. So go over and check me out over there. I am not going to tape breaking this guy down into 6. What I will do is put a link to that video in the description of this, so you guys can go check that out if you are interested in it as well. So I appreciate all you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and we will see you next time.